Most people believe wealthy families protect their own. That blood is thicker than betrayal. That behind the gates of massive estates and polished family portraits, there's loyalty. But that's not what really happened. Because sometimes the richest families aren't built on love. They're built on silence, on control, on secrets so dangerous. They survive longer than the people who created them. And in one forgotten room, hidden behind decades of dust and locked doors, a single letter would expose the kind of truth that destroys families forever. Not because of what was written inside it, but because of what it proved, that the people who abandoned their own son were never trying to protect the family fortune. They were trying to protect themselves. And by the time the lawyer finally revealed Grandpa's secret, it was already too late. The story began with a boy named Daniel. At least, that's the version the family allowed people to remember. To outsiders, the Ashford family looked untouchable. Old money, private schools, political connections, a mansion that sat above the coastline like a kingdom watching over the city. But wealth has a strange effect on people. The richer a family becomes, the more they begin treating love like an investment. Everything becomes transactional. Every conversation becomes negotiation. Every child becomes either an asset or a liability. Daniel became the liability. Most people never realized how fast affection disappears once inheritance enters the equation. When Daniel was 12, his grandfather adored him. Not publicly, never publicly. But privately, the old man spent hours with him, teaching him chess, showing him hidden rooms inside the estate, explaining business principles in ways a child could understand. Money, Grandpa once told him, doesn't corrupt people, it reveals them. At the time, Daniel thought it sounded wise. Years later, he would understand it was a warning. Because while Daniel and his grandfather grew closer, the rest of the family began noticing something dangerous. The old man trusted him. And in wealthy families, trust is more valuable than money itself. That's where things get darker. When Daniel turned 16, his parents suddenly changed. Coldness replaced affection almost overnight. Conversations became shorter. Family dinners became interrogations. His mother stopped hugging him. His father barely looked at him anymore. At first, Daniel believed he'd done something wrong. But this is where wealthy families operate differently from ordinary people. Poor families fight loudly. Rich families destroy you quietly, like carbon monoxide filling a room. You don't notice it until it's already killing you. Then came the night everything collapsed. His father walked into his room holding a suitcase. No explanation, no emotion. Just one sentence. "You're leaving tonight." Daniel thought it was punishment, but punishment ends eventually. This wasn't punishment. It was erasure. Within hours, his bank accounts were frozen. His phone disconnected, his school enrollment canceled, even his family photographs disappeared from the house, as if he had never existed. Most people would assume there had to be some reason, drugs, crime, violence, but there wasn't. And that's what makes this story terrifying. Because the real reason wasn't about what Daniel had done. It was about what Grandpa was planning. For the next 10 years, Daniel survived alone. Tiny apartments, factory jobs, night shifts. Meanwhile, the Ashford family became even richer. New businesses, magazine covers, luxury vacations, and publicly, they acted as though Daniel had died. But every few months, something strange happened. An envelope would arrive with no return address. Inside was cash. Sometimes a few $100s, sometimes thousands. No note, no explanation, just money. Daniel spent years trying to figure out who was sending it, until one rainy morning, a black car appeared outside his apartment, and everything changed. The lawyer was old, precise, the kind of man who looked carved from stone. He didn't waste words. "Your grandfather is dead." Daniel felt nothing at first, because grief becomes complicated when abandonment rewires your understanding of love. Then, the lawyer said something far stranger. "He left everything to you." Not part of the estate, not a percentage, everything, the mansion, the companies, the offshore accounts, all of it. Daniel actually laughed, because it sounded impossible. And that's when the lawyer revealed the existence of the letter. A document hidden for over 20 years, written entirely by Grandpa himself. But before Daniel could open it, the lawyer asked a question that changed the entire atmosphere of the room.